Hello, beautiful people. This is the third video that I've done in relation to Hashimoto's and thyroid disease. And I want to thank you if you've watched the first two videos. The first one was more just like an impromptu kind of this is who I am, this is what I'm experiencing, living with, and just sort of throwing it out there. The second video was more specific towards some of the yoga postures that I use when my condition flares up. And as you know, I am a yoga teacher, so that really helps as well. Today is going to be just a short video because I'm, like many mothers, I'm on the brink of school holidays and I have about 20 minutes before I have to pick my children up. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you two of my favorite resources, books that helped me in my early stages of Hashimoto's. It was just so reassuring when I found these two books, both very different in style, but very supportive, and helped me to see a bigger picture to what was going on inside me, and particularly around, sort of this throat, sort of little thyroid gland, butterfly area that we have. So I'm going to show you those two books and particularly what I like most about them. And then I thought that I'd just quickly show you a breathing technique that I use in my meditations, but also specifically when my condition flares up, if I'm feeling really super anxious, if I'm just really feeling sort of the memories fading or the brain fog setting in, or I'm just having one of those days where I'm just super tired and struggling. So that'll be after the book share. So it's called Nadi Shodhana, the technique specifically, and it virtually just it translates to alternate nostril breathing. It's just a different way of regulating your breath around your body, essentially to calm you down, and just to lower those stress levels through sort of the practice of mindful breathing. So it's quite amazing what our bodies can do for us when we give them the chance. So first book that I wanted to share, which was it just was a beautiful book that helped me so much in my early days. I think I got it around 2017 when I was diagnosed specifically with Hashimoto's. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism in 2014, but it was 2017 where suddenly I found out that I had Hashimoto's, and not sort of specifically, the hypothyroidism. So it was quite a groundbreaking year for me, which also had me scratching my head. Why hadn't anyone told me before that I had Hashimoto's? Anyways, this book is by a young pharmacist called Isabella Wentz, who also has the condition, and it's called The Root Cause, Hashimoto's Thyroiditis, The Root Cause. What interests me most about this book was that it didn't talk specifically about the symptoms as such, or how to put a band-aid over those symptoms, where be it maybe medication, or just how to deal with it as it happens in a very reactive nature. This book asks a question which is, really, we should all be asking this question, I guess, is what is the root cause of this condition? And it sounds really simple, but it's it highlights just how complex this condition is. I have Hashimoto's, you might have Hashimoto's, but we might have completely different experiences and day-to-day experiences of this condition. This book highlights that, and there is this wonderful diagram on page 54, which is literally titled Hashimoto's Thyroiditis, Vicious Cycle. Have a look at it. It's pretty scary, but it literally identifies the triggers, the pathways to symptoms. Sort of starting right at the top of the chain is things like skipping meals, and lo and behold, stress, which is obviously, sort of like quite a massive factor in triggering symptoms, and quite possibly the disease itself, sort of as it lays dormant in our bodies for a period of time, something triggers it along the way for it to really, sort of come out in force, and for our body to just literally start attacking the thyroid. So at the top of the list here, there's things like, carbs, sugars, antibiotics, and hormones. Next level down, things like reduced B12. I sort of ticked and circled things that really resonated with me at that time. I was really deficient in B12. I was having iron infusions. I was incredibly stressed. I had, and I still suffer from, I don't know whether anyone else does, it's called a temporomandibular joint sort of condition. It's like TMJ is the abbreviation that I've become really quite, as you can tell, used to using. But it's TMJ dysfunction, like it's a dysfunction of the jaw that can, sort of cause it's caused by stress. But for me, it happened at the same time as my condition was triggered. And I have always thought, that can't be coincidental. There has to be something related there. So things like abnormal gut flora, blood sugar spikes, increased cortisol, going down further the chain, impaired digestion, leaky gut, food intolerance, depleted steroids, inflammation, that is a huge one. I don't know about anyone else, but when my condition really flares up, I sometimes find it really hard to swallow. Sort of like I feel like I have inflammation sort of just going on everywhere, in my neck, in my glands, just everywhere just feels, sort of a little bit, or bloatedness as well is another symptom. What else have we got? Immune overload, adrenal insufficiency. I've actually circled that about 5 times. So certainly my adrenals were absolutely out of control. And then lower down, anxiety, anemia, and then down the bottom here, this bottom rectangle that you see here is hypothyroidism. So there's quite a lot going on there. Some people may have, 1 or 2 of these symptoms or triggers. Some people may have more. No one person with Hashimoto's would have exactly the same experience. So it's very interesting and very multifaceted, and we are all, sort of dealing with this in a very unique way. But if we can share, then maybe we can learn something that we didn't know before. So just sort of like a description of this diagram is that Isabella Wentz includes down the bottom here is Hashimoto's is a complex chain of events that reinforces itself through a feedback loop. this vicious cycle continues in the direction of its momentum until an external factor intervenes and breaks it. So she not only talks about the vicious cycle and that loop that just, sort of feels like it's never going to end. And in fact, we're told when we're diagnosed that this is like a life sentence, like it is a life a condition we will have for life. However, there are a number of lifestyle and diet, low stress lifestyle sort of interventions that we can take to enable us to control our condition more. And in some cases, I don't want to sort of advocate this or anything, but in some cases there have been people who, have gone off the medication altogether because they have, broken that chain, broken that cycle, by literally changing their life and the way that they live. But obviously for the better. So this is a great book, Root Cause. If you are new to Hashimoto's, if you're finding that there's just way too much information out there, feeling really overloaded, with internet and doctors, who may or may not sort of be providing additional support aside from medication, do yourself a favor and purchase this book. I'm hoping it's still available. Now, the next person who I really resonated with when I first became diagnosed was Sarah Wilson. Now, Sarah Wilson, I really, I hate to say this, but I had no real, sort of interest in any of this quitting sugar business before I was diagnosed. And in fact, I sort of would still look at these books and kind of go, oh yeah, I don't like, I want balance. I want to be able to have sugar. That's not for me. Then, pretty much when I found out that Sarah Wilson had used the Quitting Sugar for Life to help her to manage her Hashimoto's disease life sentence, with groundbreaking results, I became really interested in that book, and I have really implemented a lot of her suggestions, over and above. Probably the biggest thing that I did that changed, particularly things around my gut area, was I eliminated gluten from my diet, and that that helped immensely. I went a period of about 4 years where I didn't have gluten, and then I can now introduce small amounts of it without it actually causing great distress to my body. But certainly in those early days, removing gluten was just amazing. And then additionally, I entirely removed refined sugar for a period as well. I now I do eat sugar now from time to time, but certainly when my condition is really, really playing up on me, stay away from it. So I stay away from gluten, I stay away from refined sugar, I stay away from even some dairy products. I try and get to bed early, and I try to avoid stimulants such as, alcohol, coffee, things. Sometimes it sounds easier than what it is, but it's definitely worth it. And it doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have to be a rigid, I'm going off all this food and I'm never going to be able to come back to it. I have experimented with my own body in this instance, and I can attest that you can balance your life. You can listen to your body accordingly and know if it's time to go back to being stricter or not. But it, as I said, it's taken me 7 years to get to this point. So, like the disease, which is very slow moving, this is also something that needs to move slowly. And, I hate to say I'm, not always the most patient person, but you have to be patient with yourself. I was just so overwhelmed when, I first became diagnosed and I was told that I, should be eliminating, everything out of my diet practically aside from fruit and vegetables. It was really depleting, and I felt really down about that. I cried when I looked in my cupboards and there was nothing, literally nothing that I could eat. What happened then, though, was I went the opposite way, too far. And, I was like 46 kilos and there was nothing of me. And I was so grateful when I found Sarah Wilson's books, because her recipes are like amazing and they make you feel like you're not really giving up anything at all. So she has some amazing recipes in there, great tools to use, just a really good go-to reference. And yeah, just highly recommend that book as well. So those two books, so there's Isabella Wentz, The Root Cause, this one right here, and then there is Sarah Wilson's I Quit Sugar for Life, which is, there's actually a lot of words in here. There's a lot of conversation around, the recipes that are in here. It's a very popular book, so I dare say you've probably already seen it, or you may even have it yourself. But pull it out again, and even reading sort of the section of her book where she writes about Hashimoto's. So yeah. So this is going slightly longer than what I anticipated. So I'm sorry because I sort of promised this would be short. However, if you do have time, I'm just going to just introduce a breath technique that you might want to try. And essentially, the biggest part of meditation and breathing that I've found is the most important to being able to do it, sort of at all, is abdominal breathing, so diaphragmatic breathing. So if you just close your eyes and check in with yourself and ask yourself, where am I breathing from right now? About 80% of us are sort of, finding that our breath is getting quite constricted, and it's very shallow, and it's usually up around our chest area. It's amazing when we can sort of like make like a little Buddha or a baby. When you watch a baby breathe, they breathe from their belly. So they're breathing from their tummy. So so if you place one palm on your chest and one palm on your tummy, just close your eyes and check in with yourself. Where is your breath sitting when you breathe in? Are you breathing in through your nose or through your mouth? Because your nose is the best place to breathe in, except if you have congestion or something like that. Close your mouth, put your hands, one on chest, one on your abdomen, close your eyes, drop your chin, close your mouth. And then what you want to do is slowly inhale through both nostrils. Feel the breath as it enters into your nostrils. And then what you want to do is you want to be directing your breath low, like right down deep past your lungs, past your diaphragm, right down deep into your abdomen. So as you inhale, what should be happening is you should effectively be pushing your tummy, should be pushing your bottom hand away. So as you inhale, your belly expands. And then as you exhale, again through your nose, your belly then contracts. So it's expansion in the inhale, and then contraction in the exhale. Sometimes it takes a while to get used to this because our bodies are used to doing it the opposite way, and we're not used to relaxing our tummy at all. So just give yourself a break here. If it's frustrating you, don't worry. Just think, relax my belly like a baby, like a Buddha. Like my yoga teacher, Simon, because that's who I learned a lot of this diaphragmatic breathing from, and I'm very grateful to him for doing this. He would often say, the Buddha wasn't fat, the Buddha was happy. And even saying that can kind of release your tummy out for you and just get you to relax. Because essentially when we hold our tummy in, we cannot take a full entire natural breath. And if we can't breathe naturally, then we can't even have any hope of trying any sort of meditation or mindfulness exercises that that are going to be effective, because we're in a sense over breathing in an area of our body which we shouldn't be over breathing, and that sends all wacky signals all throughout our bodies. So, and essentially can ignite the fight or flight response, which then makes us even more stressed out, and defeats the entire purpose of relaxation and meditation completely. So if you just practice closing your eyes, and you can do this lying down as well, one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, drop your chin, inhale in through your nose, and just let the belly expand. Feel your bottom hand being pushed away by your belly, and then letting the air out on its own. I do in through my nose and out through my nose. It may be a little bit too much to take at the start, but just give it a go. As with everything, and particularly with Hashimoto's, it is just one step at a time. Any type of thyroid condition, it's just each day is a different day. Each moment is a different moment. So practice. Probably for today, it would just be best to practice this abdominal breathing, and then I might do the alternate nostril breathing in the next one, because I think sometimes it can be a little bit overloaded when we start changing the way we breathe to then start restricting, because alternate nostril breathing, we actually block each nostril to allow the breath and essentially the energy balance in our body, the prana, to sort of be distributed equally, because it's not always distributed equally. So for today, I think it's just focus on breathing in through your nose, expanding out the belly. Then as you breathe out, you then contract the belly. And just being observant of where is my breath. I know it sounds really simple, and I'm sorry if I'm talking to any really experienced, yogis or meditators, but quite often we forget how to breathe properly. And it is a case of just sort of reconnecting with our inner baby as such, because we all used to breathe quite naturally and normally when we were younger. And it wasn't until I started to really do some intensive breath work and yoga that I became really, really conscious of the fact that not only was I holding my tummy in when I was breathing or focusing on the breath, I had actually been doing it for day in and day out for a good decade, 15 years perhaps of my life. So we're quite often told to, sort of suck our tummies in, or even, sort of ignite our core by drawing it in. So this is a whole different way of looking at how to breathe. And obviously, without breathing, we are in a lot of trouble. So it's something that we do all day, every day. And and it becomes a habit like everything else. The way that we breathe really does matter. So this is one of my biggest lifestyle changes, physical lifestyle changes that I made when I was first diagnosed, and when I was experiencing a lot of panic, anxiety and panic attacks, to the point of that hyperventilation. So give that a go. The sort of abdominal breathing, and I hope that that you've received some type of benefit from some of the sharing that I've done today. Reach out to me, please, anyone who is going through this, and I will see you in the next one. I'm going to do 2 more over the next 2 days. So tomorrow will be more like the mantra meditation and the breath work. And then the following day, I'm going to focus on crystal healing, which is a new favorite of mine, and how I use crystals, and also things like Tibetan singing bowls as well, to just help to balance my body and realign my chakras, and sort of just use this vibration to sort of help to heal my condition as well. So I might even just give this a little tap to close us off. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.